So we're up to Daf Lamed Daled. We're up to the words Oidam Bayardin. It's about 2/3 down from the top of the page. The line begins V'lekama Oid V'Gomer. We're up to the words Oidam Bayardin.
Line starting with what words?
V'lekama Oid V'Gomer.
Yeah.
Oidam by Yarden, while the Yidden were still in the Yarden, Amar Lam Yeshua said to the Yidden, the U'al Ma'atam Eibrim es HaYarden. You need to be aware for what you are crossing the Yarden, with what intention you are crossing the Yarden, and that is Al Manasha Terishu es Yeshvei Ha'aretz Mipneichen, in order that you will expel the inhabitants of the land from before you, the Gomer. Just 1 second, please.
Better, at least this time we can see you.
Now there's two mifsim. You can see me, and I can also see the Gemara. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, "V'heirashtem es kol yosh v'ha'aretz b'pneichem v'gemer," and you should expel all the inhabitants of the land from before you. Imatem esim kein mutav. If you do that, that's fine. V'im lav, and if you don't do that, mayim boim v'sheit v'meisechem. The water will come and will flood you. What does Eisechem mean? Oisi v'yeschem. Me and you. Oidam by Yarden, while they're still in the Yarden, Amar Lam Yeshua said to the Yidden, Herima lechem ish eben achas al shichmei, l'mispar shifte Yisrael v'gemer. Each man should lift up one stone on his shoulder according to the number of the Shvatim. So I guess one man from each Shevet. And it says, in order this should be a sign amongst you, so that when your children will ask you at a later date. It says machar means tomorrow, but it means at a later date. What is the meaning of these stones? You will answer them, Siman Labanim Sha'avru Abbas is Hayardin. This is a sign for the children that their fathers crossed the Yarden. Oidam by Yarden, Amar Lam Yeshua, while they're still in the Yarden, Yeshua said to them, Sulacham Mizem Mitecha Yarden, Mimachziv Raglei HaKeinim Hachin Shtemes Re'avanim. Carry out from here, from the Yarden, from the place where the feet of the Keinim are. Take out 12 stones. You take them with you. You should place them in the place where you will spend the night. You might think that they have to put down 12 stones in every place that they spend the night. Only the place where you spend this night. Rabbi Yehuda said, they saw those stones, and they estimated them. So each one of those stones had a weight of 40 saw. And we have a tradition, we have a Kabbalah that the midli inish l'kasvei tilsa the tune have. That the load that a person can have loaded onto his shoulder is 1/3 of what he can lift himself.
1/3 of what he could actually carry.
What he can, I believe it is what he can lift himself. He can have others lift on him. I say.
So Rashi says some. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So what a person is 1/3 of what somebody else can put on.
So if I could carry on my shoulders 30 kilos, on my own I can only lift up 10. But if someone else puts it on my shoulder, I can carry 3 times as much.
Correct. And over here they lifted it up themselves.
No. Did they or people help them put them on their...
It says that ish harimu ish su'u mizeh mitei hayardin.
Se'u, plural. Okay, sorry, I'll keep quiet.
What I'm trying to bring out over here is that and the moment we'll see, we're trying to bring out that the eshkel that the Meraglim carried, how heavy it was.
Okay, I see. So we want to make it this smaller. Okay.
From here you can work out how big was the eshkel, the cluster of grapes that the Meraglim brought with them to the Midbar from Eretz Yisrael. Shenemar, it says, they carried it with a rod with two. It says that they carried it on a rod. Don't I know that means the two people carried it, one from the front of the rod, one from the end of the rod, and the eshkel was hanging on the rod. So why does it say in addition to Bamoit, why does it say Bishnayim? Bishnei Maitis, that there were two rods. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, Turtini v'Turtini the Turtini. So Rabbi Yitzchak said that this was a load under a load. In other words, there were two layers, and the ones from below were helping the ones from above, and each one had two rods. So basically, there were two rods going next to each other, and four people carrying them, and then there was another two rods and another four people carrying them, and they were crisscrossing each other. They were in diagonal. So it works out according to this cheshbon, the Shmeina Nasu Eshka. And 8 Meraglim carried this cluster of grapes on 4 rods. Echad Nasa Rimain, one remaining Meragel carried a pomegranate. Echad Nasa Te'ena, one remaining Meragel carried a fig. Yeshua v'Kalev loy nasu klum. Yeshua and Kalev didn't carry it all. Either because they were too important to carry, or because they weren't interested in the message that the Meraglim were trying to bring across by carrying these fruits. The message of the Meraglim was going to be Kashem Shapirya Mashuna, Kach Ama Mashuna. And just like the fruits are strange, so the people there are strange. Just like the fruits are so gigantic, the people there are so gigantic, and they were trying to scare the Yid. So there was no point in them carrying the fruits. So between the 10 Meraglim, you had 8 Meraglim carrying the eshkel, the cluster of grapes, one carrying a pomegranate, and one carrying a fig. So we have a machlekes in Reb Ami and Reb Yitzchak Nafli. So 1 second. So back to the story with the eshkel. So if each person that picked up a stone from the Gארדאן was able to pick up a stone of 40 saw, so that means that each person, when he's loaded on his shoulder, he can carry 120 saw. And here you had 8 people. So this 8 times 120 saw is the size of the eshkel. That's what it would seem.
Do we know how much a seah is in kilos?
I think it's 3 gallons of water.
Gallons is 4 liters each gallon?
A saw is not a weight measure. It's a volume measure, I believe. So a mikveh is 40 saw, or a minimum mikveh is 40 saw. So we have a machlekes here between Reb Ami and Reb Yitzchak Nafcha. One says, according to Reb Yehuda, who says that the waters only went up 12 mil, Keneged Machne Yisrael. So they crossed the Gארדאן in the same position that they camped, meaning in a square. According to Rebbe Elazar ben Reb Shimon, they crossed the Gאrדאן in a straight line, one behind the other. So that's the difference. Whether Rebbe Elazar ben Reb Shimon says that the Gאrדאn had to rise up 300 kilometers. That's because they crossed it in a straight line. According to Reb Yehuda, they crossed it in a square, so it didn't take so long to get across. Chadam, or the other one says, Bein Maru, Bein Mar, Kachaniyasan Avru. Both opinions hold that they crossed the same positions that they kept. Mar Savar Adam Kalam, Mar Savar Mayim Kalam. One holds that a human being is quicker than water, and one holds that water is quicker than a human being. So if you hold that a human being can move at the same speed as water, then if they crossed at the speed of the water only had to go up. The water only had to go up the size of Machne Yisrael, which is 12 mil. But if you hold that water is faster than a human being, then the water had to go up much higher than the size of Machne Yisrael.
It's funny for them to argue on
Rashi on the Rashi Mayim Kalim. I don't disagree with you. I agree with what you said. Rashi says on the words Mayim Kalim, Harbe Heim Kalim in Ha'adam, Umar Savar Adam Kal Lorutz Kemei Hamayim. Shaila is if they ran, I don't know. If they ran at a very high speed, like maybe they were all marathon runners. Since we're talking about the Meraglim, so we're now going to bring some psukim that speak about the Meraglim and interpret them. Shlach lecha anashim, it says in the pasuk, send for you men. Amar Shlakish said, Shlach lecha. Why does the Torah use the word lecha? Midaitecha. It's up to you. I'm not commanding you to send. It's up to you. If it's your opinion to send, then you send. Would the Eibishter choose to do something which he knows is going to end up being a disaster? And this is what it says in the pasuk when Moshe Rabbeinu tells over the story of Chumash Devarim, he says, "Vayitav be'einai hadavar." The matter pleased me; it was good in my eyes. But Shlakish said, "Be'einai b'lei be'einai v'shalom." Okay, it was in my eyes, but not in the eyes of Hashem. Yachbru lanu es haaretz, and they will spy out the land for us. Amar Rabchia bar Abba. The word Yachbru is also from the word cherpa, a shame. Amar Rabchia bar Abba said, "Meraglim niskavnu el lebeishto shel Eretz Yisrael." The Meraglim had in mind to shame Eretz Yisrael. Here it says they will spy out for us the land using the word v'yachbru. And it says in Yeshaya when he talks about what's going to happen when Mashiach comes, it says v'chafra halavano b'eisha achama, that the moon and the sun will be ashamed from the great light that will be shining then. So the word v'chafra is the same letters as v'yachbru. Ve'ela shmaisam, these are the names of the Meraglim. Lamate Reuben Shamua ben Zakur. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak said, Davar zeh maseirus b'yadeinu ma'aviseinu. We have a tradition passed on from our forefathers. Meraglim al shem maseim nikru. The Meraglim were named according to thele actions. The Anule also b'yadeinu ela echad. We only found out about one of them. That is Sisur ben Michael. Sisur shesasar ma'asav shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's called Sisur because he contradicted or undid the works of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Michael she'asa atzmei mach. He made the Eibishter weak. Amar Rabbi Yechanan said, "Afanu neimar." We can also come up with our own ideas how to interpret the names of the Meraglim. Nachbi ben Vavsi is called with this name Nachbi shehichbi dvarav shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He hid the words of Hashem. Vavsi shepisal mideisav shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He stepped on the midas of the Eibishter. It says in the pasuk that they went up to the south, and he came to Hebron. So the pasuk starts with the plural Vayalu b'Negev. So it should have said Vayavayu b'Bayla. It should have said and they came to Hebron. Why does it say he came to Hebron? Amar Rabba, so Rabba says, "Balamed." This pasuk teaches us Shapirish Kalev me'atzas Meraglim. Kalev separated himself from the council of the rest of the Meraglim. Halach v'nishtatech al kivrei avos, and he went to Hebron to daven by the burial places of the Avos Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Amar lahem, he said to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Avosai, my fathers, bikshu alei rachmim, daven for me, she'en notzil me'atzas meraglim, that I should be spared from the counsel of the rest of the spies. Yeshua kvar bikesh Moshe of rachmim, and Yeshua, Moshe already davened for him. Shenemar v'yikra Moshe liYeshua, liYeshua bin Nun, v'Heshea bin Nun Yehishua. Moshe called Heshea bin Nun Yehishua. What does Yehishua mean? Ko yeshtiach me'atzas meraglim. Hashem should save you from the counsel of the spies. Chassidim say that the two Meraglim who were spared from the terrible fate were Yeshua and Kalev. Yeshua had a bracha from a Rebbe, and Kalev went to the Eil. Hainu dichsiv, and this is what it says in the pasuk. Avdi Kalev Ekev Haiseruach Acheres Imay V'Gamer. My servant Kalev, since he had a different spirit with him, which was the spirit that inspired him to come to Maras Machpelah and daven over there that he should be saved from the council of the Meraglim. Sham Achiman Sheishai V'Salmai. It says that over there were Achiman Sheishai V'Salmai. Says the giants. Achiman Sheishai V'Talmai. Says the Gemara, Achiman, why was he called Achiman? Because he was Miyuman Shebe'echav, the strong one amongst his brothers. Sheishai Shemesim Esa'aras Keshichasais. When he stepped on the ground, he made the earth like furrows, like rows of like bumpy rows. Says he indented the earth when he walked. Talmai Shemesim Esa'aras Tlamim, which is pretty much another way of saying the same thing. To see if there's a Rashi says, the place of his feet went deep into the ground because it was so heavy. So it looked like a ditch in the ground. The Lashon Sheishai, it's like pillars of marble, Rashi suggests, which are heavy, and the place where they stand is indented in a noticeable way. And he teaches that tlomim means ketelim hamachresha, like the furrows or like the rows of earth that are made by the plows. Shemayla ha'afar u'mamikaretz. It lifts up the earth and deepens deepens the earth. In other words, it makes like waves in the earth. So when they walk, they made waves in the earth. Davar acher another pshat. Achiman bana anos. Sheishai bana alash, Talmai bana talbush. Achiman built the city of Anos, Sheishan built the city of Alash, and Talmai built Talbush. Yilidei ha'anak, why are they called Yilidei ha'anak? Shemanikin chama b'kaimasam, they made their height was like a decoration around the sun. In other words, their heads went up as high as the sun, so it looked like the sun was like a necklace around their necks. The Chevron Sheva Shanim Nivnasa. It says that Chevron was built 7 years before Tzoyan Mitzrayim. My Nivnasa. What does Nivnasa mean? Ilema Nivnasa Mamish. If you want to explain Nivnasa, I mean that's what it was Mamish built. How could that be? Canaan was the youngest son of Cham. Mitzrayim was the second son of Cham. It says Bnei Cham Kushu Mitzrayim Putuchnan. Is it possible that a person would build a house for his younger son before he builds a house for his oldest son? So Mitzrayim was the second son and Canaan was the fourth son. So how could it be that Hebron, which was for Canaan, would have been built 7 years before Tzayan, which was for Mitzrayim? It means it was built 7 times as beautiful as Tzayan. And the Hebron is the most inferior part of Eretz Yisrael. The Kabri Bashchivrin, that's why it's used for burial. There isn't a more superior land than the land of Mitzrayim. Like the garden of Hashem, like the land of Mitzrayim. There's no more superior place in the land of Mitzrayim than Tzoyan. The ministers, the princes were in Tzoyan. And even though Mitzrayim is such a wonderful place, and Tzoyan within Mitzrayim is the most beautiful place in Mitzrayim, and Hebron is the most inferior part of Eretz Yisrael, nevertheless, Hebron was 7 times superior to Tzoyan. You said that Hebron was swampy land, and that's why they used it for burial. Doesn't it say that it was at the end of 40 years? And Avshalom said to the king David, Elchana v'Gamer, that I'm going to go to Hebron. I'm going to go, it says, Amar Rav Avia, Rabbi Bar Bar Chanan, Rav Avia says, and others say Rabbi Bar Bar Chanan said, he went to bring lambs from Hebron. Betanya, we learned in the Brais there, the best place to get rams is in Moav. The best place to get lambs is in Hebron. So how could you say that Hebron is bad soil it's inferior. Here it says that the best lambs come from Hebron. And for the Gemara, no, that's exactly why. I did the Klisha Ara because the land is so weak. It's swampy earth is finer earth. So Abderaya, so they didn't plow that land because it's good for nothing. So it ended up providing a lot of pasture. Veshaman Kinyana, and therefore the mikna, you say the flock that pastures in Hebron is fatter because they have a good pasture to pasture on. Therefore, if you're looking for a good place to get lambs from, go to Hebron. Not because Hebron is superior land, but because Hebron is inferior land. It can't be plowed, it can't be sown. So it's left to grow grass there, and that's the best place for lambs to pasture. So there's no contradiction between the two concepts of Hebron being the most inferior part of Eretz Yisrael, and nevertheless, it's a good place to get sheep from. We'll hold it over here in Mirza Hashem tomorrow, to be continued tomorrow at 3 o'clock, Be'ezras Hashem.
Good.
Yasher.